The Detroit Lions win on Monday Night Football over the Baltimore Ravens 38 to 30, and truly probably Dan Campbell's best regular season win he's ever had. Now, I think people could make an argument for Minnesota last year just because of what that meant to the team. Obviously, clinched the division, clinched the overall number one seed in the playoffs. But if you really look at just kind of the circumstances going into this game, I truly think that this is up there with probably the greatest win he's ever had preseason. Number one reason why is because it's really difficult to go into Baltimore. Like, there's not a ton of teams that go into Baltimore and win. The second main reason why is because for a lot of people, this could be a preview of the Super Bowl. People talked about going into this season, going into this game, about how these two teams could very much make the Super Bowl. And if we saw a potential preview of the Super Bowl, we're in for a treat because that matchup was absolutely incredible. And it just was incredible because of the fact of you had two teams going at it. You had guys perform extremely well. Derrick Henry did have a fumble in the fourth quarter that ultimately cost the Ravens, but his first touchdown run, he was able to just dominate. He wasn't able to do very much outside of that. But this was one of those games where you don't see teams go into Baltimore. You don't see teams play the Baltimore Ravens and just out physical, out tough that team. You could see the motivation that the Lions had to get over or to revenge the loss that they had where they got absolutely blown out the last time they played the Baltimore Ravens. Like, they got absolutely blown out. It wasn't even competitive, and it almost flipped in this game. Now, if you look at the score, you just looked at the overall game, you could say, like, it was absolutely a much closer game, but the Lions were truly able to do what they wanted offensively, and it truly started with the running the ball. Like, the Lions and David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, like, they were able to run the ball at will. And that's just one really impressive. But if you want to talk about impressive, David Montgomery in this game, he just continues to show why this 1-2 tandem of David and Jahmyr just works so well because you have an extremely athletic, very fast running back in Jahmyr Gibbs. You see Jahmyr Gibbs getting more carries this year, quite a bit different than last year. When David Montgomery comes into the game, especially in this game, he made an instant impact. He had 12 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns in this game on the ground. David Montgomery is that guy, and I thought he was absolutely spectacular in this game. I thought Jahmyr Gibbs was really good as well. I thought the offensive line was fantastic in this game. You really have to talk about Penei Sewell. I believe his PFF grade was like a 98 or 97, which is insane. You also have Tate Radlich. His score was a 92 as a rookie. Like, this offensive line, from what we saw week one against the Packers for what we saw in this game, dramatically improved. And just this overall offense, like, you had J-Mo getting involved really early on. If you want to talk about a key player, a clutch player, you have Sam Laporta make several catches on a third down. I believe he made at least 3 or maybe all of his catches were on third down. He had 4 catches, 33 yards. And Amon-Ra St. Brown just continues to just do everything. Like, he is a matchup nightmare for any team that the Lions play. Like, good luck trying to stop him. Like, he had a great route for his 1 touchdown in this game. Perfect ball by Jared Goff. And if you want to talk about perfect throws by Jared Goff, that in itself, and also the 4th down conversion. And I know, especially for the NFC Championship game, Dan Campbell gets a lot of flack for going for it, for being as aggressive as he is. That's what makes this Lions team different, and that's what makes this Lions team buy into what he wants to do. I think the whole argument of that it was Ben Johnson, that it was Aaron Glenn, this game in itself, I think, completely ends that. Dan Campbell is that guy. And I think he needs to be talked more about how football intelligent he is than just the fact that he said, oh, we're going to bite kneecaps. Yes, that's the philosophy that they believe in. Yes, they buy into the culture. Yes, they want to do that. But this is a man that truly is not only extremely football intelligent, but this is a man that is not afraid to do something that seems unbelievable. Like, for a lot of teams, that 4th and 2 with about 1:56 left in the game, they would have absolutely punted it. The Lions were up one possession. It was at the 49-yard line. I bet you 31 out of 32 coaches punt that thing. Maybe one other one. Maybe Andy Reid goes for it. But when Dan Campbell continues to rely on what he has built here, continues to rely on the offense to get the big play done, for a lot of times it's worked. And that's why if you look at Dan Campbell's record on primetime games, it's 12-2. Like, Dan Campbell right now wins primetime games. The Lions have won the last 4 of them. The Lions bought into this. And I think the way that the final 4th down conversion went, if you looked at how John Morton set that up, not only was it a brilliant pass, because it truly was. Like, it was a perfect pass. Maybe one of the best passes Jared Goff has ever thrown. Is it one of the biggest? Maybe. Maybe it could end up being that. But one of the best passes he's ever thrown, especially as a line. It was brilliant. It was perfect. Great play action. If you saw how John Morton set that up, you truly understand that this guy gets it. And I don't know if week 1 was a mirage. I don't know if it was completely fake. I don't know if this is fake. But you're seeing why this Lions team seems different. Like, the whole fact of week 1 was the Lions window is done. I truly think this win, and you see people in sports media nowadays talking like this is a statement that was made. And not only offensively was this a statement that was made, defensively this was a statement that was made. They held Baltimore, I know it's 30 points at the end of the day, truly they held Baltimore to 24 points in this game. They could have easily held them to less than that, because there's multiple times, especially early on in this game, where basically Baltimore gave the Lions 2 free turnovers, and they just dropped the ball. You had Brian Branch drop the ball. Great recognition by him for, I believe it was a Mark Andrews go route. Jumped it. Should have absolutely caught it. Maybe one of the easiest interceptions that Brian Branch could have ever had. You also had DJ Reed drop basically a pick in the end zone. Now, you also did get a stop defensively at the 1-yard line, which that was great in itself. But this defense under Kelvin Shepherd, we can talk about how much and how big of an issue the pass rush is. But in this game, as the game went on and as the Lions offense got stronger, when the Lions needed a stop defensively, they got it. They got a huge play from Aiden Hutchinson, a forced fumble from Derrick Henry. That's his second forced fumble in the last 2 games for Derrick Henry. That's truly lost them kind of their games on it. So that's interesting. That's something that's going to have to continue to be watched out for. But you have Aiden Hutchinson getting a sack, getting in the backfield. You have Muhammad that he's just been spectacular in this game and rightfully got a game ball. Like, he absolutely deserved that game ball. Like, he had 2.5 sacks in this game. He was just all over the field. Like, this defense had 7 sacks against Lamar Jackson. Not only is 7 impressive, which it is, which I believe it tied a franchise record for the Baltimore Ravens for most ever given up in a game, But against Lamar Jackson, one of the most athletic, if not the most athletic quarterback in the NFL. Like, yes, he's gotten better at throwing the ball, but, like, he can avoid the pass rush so well that even getting a couple on him is a great game. Now, do I know if this is going to be something that's going to continue on from this game? No. I truly don't know if it's going to continue going on after this game. But the statement that this offense made, the statement that this defense made, the statement that this team has made truly is that the Lions are here. That they're here to stay, that they're going to continue to get better. And I think with what you saw from a Jared Goff, what you saw from an Aiden Hutchinson, you can see that. And I truly think that this win for the Lions was absolutely massive. You needed to go 2-1. I think for any fan, if you imagined a 2-1 start to the beginning of the year, I think you would have probably predicted a loss to the Ravens. So I don't think fans are too upset. Now, obviously, you have bigger goals ahead of yourself. You have to go play the Browns. The Browns just beat the Packers. Like, you still have to have that approach. But for now, this is an absolutely massive win. And it's a win that truly needs to continue that momentum going forward. I think we're going to have to continue to see this defensive line continue to get pressure. If a guy like Muhammad can continue to do what he did in this game, he had so much effort in this game. Like, his effort was outstanding in this game. DJ Reader, outstanding in this game. Like, outside of the one run that Derrick Henry had, this run defense was really good for the most part. Now, Terrion Arnold did have a rough day, but even the secondary got better in the second half. It's about improving, and that's exactly what we saw in this game. We saw this defense have a rough first half, was able to force some turnovers, then respond in the second half, was able to get a turnover, was able to get a stop. Offense was able to get going as well, and then obviously you ended with getting the onside kick at the end of the game to clinch the win. But what a win for the Lions. Obviously, a lot of fun watching that game. Huge win for this team. You could see after the game, just like the emotion, just Dan Campbell, obviously, after game speech, obviously always great. Makes you want to run through a wall. But, yeah, no, great win for the Lions in this one. Absolutely massive. 2-1, and now they're going to focus on the Cleveland Browns because still really early on, need to continue to get better. And I think they will. And you had great performances from guys like David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, J-Mo, and several others, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, if you enjoyed this Lions recap, definitely will talk more about them throughout the season. Definitely a lot of fun to talk about them. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And yeah, there will be more content coming up in the next little while.